Good?
Yep.
Perfect, right. Okay, well, look, welcome back, everyone, to today's Procurement and Finance Coffee Break. And we're still in the wonderful Ruby Lucy all-day bar hotel breakfast. And we're going to have a great chat today, and I'm actually really excited about this one. Not that I wasn't excited about accounting data models, but this one I am excited about, which is we're going to talk about triple bottom line, because I think it's going to pick up a lot of the things that we have spoken about in in previous webinars. So
it's certainly going to be a driving force for procurement and finance teams to work closely together, more closely than ever before, isn't it?
I would agree. Right. Should we get going?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'll start. Look, what is a triple bottom line? People, planet, profit. It's that simple. So every single company does its bit on the first one, profit. So P&Ls, balance sheets, all the good stuff that every single company produces. And as we talked about in a previous webinar, those companies are doing it to IFRS standards. So we're all completely clear that companies report in the same way. The other two are a little bit more sticky. I mean, originally, I think the idea of the triple line came out, when was it, 1994, John Elkington, I think? And, the idea was to force companies to broaden their concept of value and make sure that they weren't maximising profit at the expense of the people or the planet, the resources that we were using. So it's a great idea. It's just the other two haven't really... it's not really made it up to the same.
I think
level.
it's because it's kind of harder than traditional accounting.
Well, absolutely, and we talked a lot. This will come up a bit later. We talked about ESG and about some of the legislation that's changing in the people space, German Supply Chain Act. We talked about what's happening in the environmental space, not just Scope 3, but also the fact that international accounting standards are going to be international sustainability standards, and we're going to have IFRS S1, S2. They're going to make the reporting of sustainability data and put it on the same footing as financial data, which means it's coming your way because no one else is going to get trusted to do it in an organisation. So maybe those two things, German Supply Chain Act and ISSB, are going to be the driving force for making companies effectively adopt that triple bottom line approach.
So Richard, is anyone using triple bottom line right now?
Yes, there are, and in fact, it won't surprise anyone. First company that I mentioned, Patagonia. If in my view, if there was a company out there that you looked at that said that absolutely embodies doing good business in the spirit of looking after people and planet, Patagonia's got to be right up there as one of the number ones. I mean, sustainability is in their core. They've had it for a long time, but there are others. Unilever adopt it, Danone adopt it, Tesla adopt it. But I think it's safe to say this is not in broad adoption. I mean, if you went across, FTSE 100 or, it's not. You wouldn't find many doing it. Okay, I'm going to now ask the killer, and I'm going to throw it your way because, from an accounting point of view, you do a wonderful job on the first P, the profit side of it.
Yeah.
But actually, what would you say has got to happen from an accounting point of view if companies are going to employ the same rigor into the people and the planet side?
Yeah. Well, I kind of see triple bottom line reporting and the implementation of it a bit like any kind of performance metrics that you want to implement for an organisation. So, if you think about performance metrics, doesn't matter what they are.
No.
There are 5 key steps. The first one is identify what metrics you want to measure. So you have to agree what they are, because normally what's the saying? What gets measured gets managed or something. I can't remember what it is.
But you're absolutely right. If you don't measure it, you don't focus on it. So it's never going to happen. Right.
So the next one is, so you've agreed, you've got agreement across the organisation what the metrics are. You then set your goals for those metrics. Then you have to collect the data. And that goes back to our our topic, which I would say is going to be a challenge for lots of organisations, is the data and the integrated systems to collect those metrics. So you need
we talked
end-to-end
about this, right?
processes, good data.
Exactly. I mean, we talked about, when again in that webinar on sort of ESG, Scope 3 companies cannot. I mean, how are you supposed to gather data on CO2 performance of your entire supply chain? How are you supposed to measure if you're subject to the German supply chain Act, how are you supposed to measure the treatment of people all the way back to the mine or the farm?
Yeah.
But it's got to happen.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge.
And that goes down to your the quality of your business processes and your systems in order to be able to gather that data.
Right. Okay.
So we've said 3 steps so far: identify the metrics, set the goals, collect the data, and then once you've got that, analyze the performance. So what is the data telling you?
Yep.
And then, in line with whatever accounting standards or reporting standards you're under, whether
ISSB, IFRS, S1, S2, you'll have it in your head.
Yeah. So then report the results.
Right.
But then I would say there's a 6th step, which is feedback. So, as with any business process, you should have a process of continuous improvement for that business process. So I think it's important to then look at the end of the process, what is working well, what is time consuming, what data is challenging to gather, and then do a feedback loop and keep improving it.
Right. Now, look, I'm not naturally cynical. I'm an optimist. I actually think adopting triple bottom line is going to be a really great thing to improve quality of life globally. Global companies reporting their performance on their supply chain is going to be a good thing. So we've got, in my view, 3 problems, right? Which is in environmental greenwashing, people saying that they're doing the right thing, but they're not. There is a phrase out there, on people, diversity, rainbow washing, people, employing and claiming that they are, working in conjunction with the societies that they work in, but they're not. And I suppose the equivalent is probably out there as well. They're, somewhere for, treatment of people as well. So washing, whatever it might be, what role do you think finance is going to play? And and actually, how can procurement help you to minimise this challenge of people claiming things they're not actually doing?
Yeah, I mean, if a business is greenwashing or exaggerating its credentials about how sustainable they are, then I think that's a very risky game to play, because they will always be subject to people whistleblowing. We've just seen recently ITV, the sort of scandal that's engulfed ITV. So I would say, like, anyone who's thinking of greenwashing or exaggerating the results, just don't do it, because you're going to leave a business open to scandal and reputational damage. But on the regulation point of view, those new standards that you mentioned that are going live this year from the ISSB, IFRS S1 and S2, they should be subject to audit, so that there'll be a regulation point of view there.
Realist, right? I mean, even if it came in this year, like IFRS, in the profit of the 3, it's going to take time to roll out and level out. And auditors are going to see behaviour and correct it, but it should over time.
I mean, there's certainly things that you can do as a finance team. Use clear, objective metrics that everyone understands. You could engage with someone to perform independent verification. Communicate openly and honestly. Report regularly, and as I say, avoid unsupported claims. So don't make claims that are can't be substantiated, or that you haven't checked yourself thoroughly, because if you make a claim and then it turns out to be a false claim, and you go, I misunderstood. Again, it can be a form of reputational damage.
I mean, I remain optimistic, right? And look, let's be honest. Washing, it still happens in financial accounts. I mean, every year you're going to see some company get done because their accounts have been misstated, or
Yeah,
they've accounted
or
for
they're doing
something.
some sort of window dressing.
Yeah, exactly. So the same problem is going to exist in the other two. But look, being optimistic, there is a great opportunity. It almost feels like the time is right. The legislation, even if it isn't part of a master plan, is coming in on a national level and an international level that's beginning to create the push for the triple bottom line to be adopted. And I think, for me, recognizing that it will take time to level, there will always be bad actors that cook the books, but across all three, not just one.
Yeah.
But actually, I think the majority of companies.
And I would say, you mentioned earlier when we discussed ESG, the fact that there's more demand now from customers to know that people conscious consumers.
Yeah.
But from a business process and systems point of view, look at it as an opportunity to improve your business processes and systems. Don't think like, okay, this is something we have to do. Think, well, we have to do this, but this is a great opportunity to overhaul our systems and business processes to be the best they can be.
Exactly. And look, at the end of the day, you can't just focus on shareholder value in a monetary sense, because if you're doing the wrong thing by planet and people, it's inevitably going to affect your shareholder value, because people aren't going to invest. They're not going to support your business, your products, your services. So, right, look, triple bottom line, it's an old topic, 30 years old now, but probably maybe now the days come where we see its broader adoption. And I, for one, personally hope so. Right. Wonderful session. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to the next one, because I'm going to be able to say all the ways why procurement doesn't love finance. It's my time to get my own back for the previous webinar. But actually, we're going to try something a bit different in the next one.
Yeah, we're going to try it. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Apparently, we're going to role play.
Yes.
And I'm just feeling no love whatsoever. I'm gonna take the medicine and I'm gonna try it.
We're gonna see if it helps us.
Okay. And if not, we'll do something different. All right. Listen. For now, I hope you found that useful. As ever, please share, like, comment, tell us what you want to hear. If you disagree, tell us you disagree. But if not, until next time, from Claire and I. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.